All right, folks, Simon here. This is the one we have been waiting for. The 2022 Q2 Beginner Tack Tournament Finals match, this time between dopeMedic and Vivil. That's right, these are the final competitors. They have beaten everybody else in the playoff stage and were the top of their groups in the group stage prior to that. They will be playing the same rules as before, a 6x6 board with 15 minutes on the clock and a 10-second increment, meaning 10 seconds get added to their time after every turn. They will be playing 2 games, one as each color, and there is no Komi, so we don't have to worry about that extra rule. If you don't know what Komi is, doesn't matter. We're not using it. And so we're going to be jumping into that in just a moment here. I think this is going to be a solid game. We did see some really good games from both of these players so far in this tournament. I have my predictions, but we'll see how they turn out and see if that's how things are going to play out, or if there will be an upset to my predictions. We'll see. But here we go with game 1 of dopeMedic versus Vivil. Vivil in white and dopeMedic in black. All right, and we're seeing A1 played. Will we see adjacent corners or opposite? It looks like we're getting adjacent corners. Now, will he go for the D3 placement? Okay, so he's going to go for center control, but off to the side. Very interesting. All right, so we're seeing this sort of center control, but off to the side, displaced. I'm unfamiliar with this sort of play here. He is placing it farther away from his initial flat, and so that is going to be changing things for sure. But still continuing on with this vertical line here, this actually works out really well for black, I'd say, because he sort of pushed black into doing the Knights opening, which for white is a very, very strong opening and what we've seen a lot of top players do. And it's the opening that Fwib, the #1 player, and basically the reigning champion also, it's the one that he's coined and sort of uses. So we do see that black capstone drop ready to come over and interrupt this, but white has shifted gears already to go for the horizontal line up above. And I don't think that's too bad right now. Black can stop it by dropping an A5 here and sort of head that off and focus on cutting off the vertical later. I think an A5 followed by A6 or B6, something like that, he can worry about that, and I think that's fine. Doesn't need to worry about this vertical right now. He's got the capstone in place, so all he's got to do is just worry about shutting down that horizontal momentum. Instead, he did place here at C2, worrying about that vertical. I don't think that was the play. He had the capstone in place to really mess that up, and white has momentum currently. So white's going to be able to make that first tack threat. Black's going to have to catch up. Still no tack threat from white, but he can make one on the next turn. Black cannot make one now. Ooh, that is a strong wall position right there. Great wall position. It's able to come down onto C5 and cut off that vertical line and the horizontal line at the same time. This is where, if I'm black, I'm saying, all right, cool. I've got momentum, sort of. No, white still has momentum. Black can play here, but it's not a threat. So white's able to capture down and make their own threat. I'd say that if I'm black, I'm still going to just play at F3 because I know that I can capture up with B3 and ruin that. And then if that doesn't get recaptured immediately, I can throw it across, something like that. A lot of options here for black. I'd say focusing on the offensive works out great here. He's got the wall. He's got the capstone in place. He doesn't have to worry about white roading right now. He should focus on his own offensive threat, and that's exactly what he's doing here, placing at A3. And that's a smart one too. Better than F3 potentially, because now if B3 gets captured, something like that, he also has another flat there to sort of protect it. Still no capstone from white, surprisingly. White may decide to drop that capstone there at A4. Well, it doesn't follow a lot of the guidelines in the capstones video of TAC University. It does work because it would be working for that offensive, it would be defensive, it would be played early enough, but it's not in that center area of the board, and that's where it kind of loses out on those guidelines. And it's not isolatable from that point either. But he decides to drop a flat there instead. That works also. This is still a tack threat from white. Now, as black here, ooh, he brings the capstone up. That was one of the moves I was definitely not expecting. If I would have said the wall would move before the capstone for sure. If the wall stack had moved left onto B5, I think that would have been fine. But the capstone coming up is definitely something interesting that I didn't expect. Will we see? Okay, we're seeing an A5 placement. So it looks like white may be dropping a capstone at C6 soon to threaten that C5 stack and to build around this. Now, if I'm black, maybe I'd play at D6 here, anticipating that. Maybe I'd continue on for this horizontal line, really push that offense, try and use my strong offense to work as a defense, can't make threats if I'm making them, sort of thing. White sees through that and decides to go ahead and drop that wall right there in the mix of things, trying to interrupt that whole horizontal line. And I think the play here for white is to capture up. Capturing over is fine. Capturing up, I would immediately think, okay, you want to capture left onto C2 instead of onto D3. But it actually works out fine because black can't smash it because they'd lose to a road. And then if black wants to make this capture first to make make a threat over here, if he makes that threat, and that happens and the capture comes up, black's going to have to smash after this capture. He can't smash before. So the capture comes, and then white is able to capture over onto C3 and recover that flat and liberate that captive. And so that's a liability that black doesn't want to have here. And I think that's fine. I think that's a good play here from white. I think that works out really well for him. Black now playing down at B2. I like this spot. This works out for black, playing around the wall, going for the horizontal there, but it also reinforces this position so that white's not going to be able to bring anything down over here. White is definitely nervous about bringing a capstone up here because it would be up against that edge of the board, but he does go for it. He does place that capstone there. And I think that capstone is fine, in a perfectly fine position at this point. Black got that wall, basically have that wall at this point. Which direction is a good question here. He tosses it. I really like that. I really like that he threw that wall to right so far. I think that was a really smart move and something that you don't typically see in a beginner tournament match. It just goes to show how much practice and how much time and how much study that dopeMedic has put into the game over these past few weeks. He is subscribed to my Patreon at the highest tier, and so he got a couple games with me where we sort of did teaching games, coaching games, that sort of thing, and he's definitely improved quite a bit. And so I think that it would be very impressive for Vivil to come out on top in this game. And we do see black make that smash there with the capstone, smashing that wall. This is a really, really brutal position here for white. I am trying to figure out a way that he can get out of this long term, but this might end up being Tinue. I think that black, I think black wins by playing at B1. I think it's Tinue by placing at B1. Is there something else that he could do? No, I think B1 makes it Tinue. Wow. And that's if he sees it though. He may not be seeing it. Oh, he played it at A2. Now, A2 also works. I think it's just one move longer than B1, but it does certainly work. And so now white's kind of going over all the options that they have at this point, and the only one that immediately cuts it off is 2A3 minus, and 2A3 minus is playtech notation, or PTN. And that's over here off to the side. It's how we record games, and we discuss this and go over how that works and how to read it, how to write it in the playtech notation video of TAC University on YouTube. So we see that we'll see that move come down, or he'll make some other move and lose right away. But I think that's the only one that immediately stops it. Yeah, it is the only one that immediately stops it. But again, it's just a postponing. But yeah, really, really strong start here in this game. dopeMedic playing really smart, getting this Tinue pretty early. Move 17, so it'll be a win on move 18. And when did it start? It started with this smash. Yeah, I think that smash was the start of the Tinue. Really, really well played on 15 there. Yeah, excellent play from dopeMedic there. And great play from Vivil too. Just missed that opportunity for the Tinue happening with that smash. Easy to miss because for so long that capstone was not able to come down and smash that wall because of the pin. But throwing that wall all the way over onto E5, I still say throwing that wall over to E5 was probably the best move of the game. Even though it doesn't seem like that great of a move, it was for me the best move of the game and really, really the clincher for it. And so that was really great play. So congratulations to dopeMedic for winning game 1 in this finals match of the Q2 2022 Beginner TAC Tournament. So we will be going on to game 2 here momentarily. And again, apologize for my voice. I am sick and voice is a little messed up. So that's a thing. All right, and we see that adjacent corner opening right off the bat, A1, F1. Now, dopeMedic has been prone to do an edge crawl, but he's not going to do that this time. He's jumping right into the center control, going in for that mirrored opening, it looks like, is what Vivil's plan is here. So we're likely going to be seeing that vertical line from white, probably one more flat plate from white in this vertical direction before black drops a capstone over here at B4 or B3. At least that's the common pattern that we see so often in these. And we discussed that opening in the openings video of TAC University. Instead, we see white dropping that capstone down at D2, which gives up momentum, sort of. It doesn't actually give up momentum because white still has it, but it does shift gears here. White is now basically changing directions to go for that horizontal line. This is an interesting play and not one that I've seen too often. Which is a great way to do things because then it means your opponent hasn't seen it too often and isn't prepared for how to respond to it. So black looks like they're totally fine. Shifting gears also just going to be playing off to the side for that horizontal line, knowing that they've got this F1 here, able to cut off and even link up using this vertical line here. I think that's totally fine. I'm not sure that this play from white is a good one. Oh, but black is overly cautious here potentially and dropping that wall right away on A2. White may still decide to drop here at B1, continue that threat, which would follow with this play, but white has decided, no, not going to worry about that. I'm dropping here at B5 instead, cutting off white's horizontal play. This is where I think, ooh, that capstone dropping from black is a really good spot. That one basically follows every single guideline that we have in the capstones video of TAC University. So a really, really strong play there. I like that one a lot. Really great capstone placement. But white is continuing to play for this horizontal line. He has to know that as soon as he places at F2, that either that wall's going to come over or F1 is going to come up. One of those two things is going to happen. I wonder what his plan is to get out of that. Now, this is where we see, is it the wall or is it the flat that makes the capture? Now, ooh, instead, no capture, just a flat placement at B1. Interesting. So we see the flat placement. Now we discuss captures in the captures video of TAC University, talking about how it's typically not great to make flat on flat captures. If you are going to make a capture, make it with a capstone or a wall. And so far we have seen 0 captures. We're 10 moves in, no captures. This is not super normal for a beginner tournament. Typically we'll see a lot more captures in a beginner tournament than this, but in higher level games, you will definitely see a lot of flat placements and no captures. And so I think that this is why we're seeing this here in the finals, that now we're getting much stronger play here from these players. These are the ones that rose to the top of the rest of the competitors here. There's a reason they made it to the finals, basically. So now we're seeing black cutting off white's vertical tack threat. They did place up at C6 to make that vertical tack threat. Black did cut that off with that capstone, moving up to B5. Now white can't immediately renew that vertical threat. He can renew the horizontal one, however, and that's exactly what he does, placing here at B3. Now black can cut that off by capturing over with this wall stack, but it would give white a great opportunity to smash here, and that's definitely not what black wants to do. Potentially a flat placement here, or bring that F1 up onto F2. Interested to see how this is going to play out. Black now has to respond to this, but they've got a few different ways to go about it. The basically two main ones, which I think are these two captures: flat up, wall right. The other one is drop a flat or a wall here at A3. Goes for the wall. Much more secure play there. I think we might see a flat drop here at B4 now, just continuing that horizontal threat. And if it results in yet another wall at A4, that's going to be pretty brutal for black's flat count differential. It's not going to be something that he wants to happen. So I think from here, I like B4 for white. That wall dropping at A3 again does not help that flat count differential. And we do talk about flat count differential and what I mean by +1 and +2 and +3 moves and things like that on the TAC University video called Flat Count Differential, or FCD. You can learn all about that there on YouTube. But we see an A4 placement here instead of the B4. Now, I think that's fine, but it does invite the wall there at B4. I think B4 was a much stronger move than A4. If this had been a flat, absolutely A4 would have been better, but it's a wall, so there's no capturing down. Doesn't really make sense to separate it. You're giving black the opportunity to capture over onto C4 and ruin this vertical bit. If they eventually do something else later on down the line, like bring this over or something like that. But there's potential there for black to get a little more headway in that part of the board, and I don't think that's what white wants to happen here. But now what we do see is white dropping a wall here at D6. Now this is able to come down again. We did see this in the previous game where white drops, well, where dopeMedic dropped a wall right at the intersection of their opponent's threat, able to come down and basically ruin both directions of it. And I think that's particularly strong in this game and in the previous game. I think that it worked out really well in both ways. And so I think that, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So that's exactly what he's going for. Drops this wall. It's able to come down onto D5 now, but he probably won't. He's probably going to make some more placements first. I'm guessing maybe here at F5. That seems to make a lot of sense. Place up at F5, maybe go for a vertical line over here and cut off black's horizontal threats. That seems to work out just fine for me in my head. Black playing up at B6 doesn't do a lot for him. It gives him a vertical anchor point here up at the top, but it doesn't really have anywhere to go. White's got this basically locked down on this side. And where white doesn't have it locked down, black's got walls there. And so it's going to be really tough for black to really make that vertical road. So I don't really think that placement at B6 is going to be too helpful for him. At this point, I really like for white at F5 again, like I said. But I could see some other placements, just really a flat placement anywhere for this point, except for maybe over here at A2. Like a lot of places work out really, really well for white here. So I think anywhere on this part of the board just works. It just works. But I think that F5 is good. Oh, he's bringing the wall down first. I didn't expect the wall to come down on this turn, to be honest. I expected a flat placement before that. But that seems fine. We are also, again, getting live game analysis from the Willem bot. Will is running that in the chat right now for the stream chat, and he's giving what Willem bot thinks is going to happen. However, Willem bot is programmed to work with 2 Comey, and this is not with 2 Comey. So that's going to be quite a bit different, and the results will change because of that. But he does say that the bot heavily favors white right now, even with the extra Comey to black. Okay, so we do see black making that capture on B6. Now, this is important to note because now this capstone is able to toss across and smash on D6. If you don't want that to happen, I would have said place at B6. Because then you're keeping it so that capstone can't make that smash. Because if it does, it just gives up a road. D6 or B6, either of those would do the exact same thing. It would lead to black not being able to bring that capstone over. And that B6 to the right move that black made, apparently Willem bot really did not like that, and now gives a much higher percent chance for white to win. So I'm not sure if, how accurate that is. Again, it is playing with Comey in mind. And this game does not have Komi. We don't do Komi in beginner tournaments. So who knows how that's going to turn out. But interesting to see what Vivil here is going to go for. And from this point, the bot would likely just drop flats across the board and kind of go for a flat victory, not go for a road so much as just kind of force responses. And I think that's a decent play because of the advantage right now in terms of flats. 3 walls dropped from black. Really, really hurts their flat count and has given white the ability to just go for a lot of different things. So white currently has 10 flats on the board. 10 flats showing, rather, and black has 8. White also has no flat-on-flat captures. The only capture that white has made so far has been with a wall. So not a lot of opportunity for black to recover any liabilities or anything. White's been playing a really, really tight, really, really smart game. And it's it's proving to be really well done. White now dropping at D1, really just solidifying that area at the bottom of the board, which I find interesting. I guess he really wants to solidify this bottom of the board area, but I would have expected playing off here to the right and make sure that black can't make any threats in the horizontal direction, and also just go for this vertical. That makes a lot more sense to me than solidifying the position on the bottom. Though playing down at the bottom does make it so you've got these double citadels here, and you've got it so black's not going to be able to really force any flat captures, any positive flat count differential moves down there at the bottom. It's really not a possibility at this point. But now that black is placing at F5, I think white wants to place now probably at D6 up here to keep black from making that connection around the wall. Dropping a flat there works just fine. Again, it also keeps black from tossing that capstone over to the right and smashing the D5 wall, if he ever wants to do that. Interesting to see what white's response is going to be here. White could also just play up at A6 and A5. Not as strong because black does have that capstone there on B5, and he can maneuver with flats to be able to force out sort of a more secure win over there, making a road. Whereas the position at D6 is far enough away for, and he does place at D6. It's far enough away for that capstone that it can't get in the way and really mess with things there. So black content to drop another flat at B6. Now I think this flat at B6 isn't really to further black's position. I think it's mainly to protect that C6 stack. He doesn't want D6 to come left and capture and get that flat and liberate that captive. So white now drops a wall at E6, which I find fascinating. He may decide to come over and capture onto his own D6, self-capture, and then spread it across on top of C6 and B6. So basically capture up and then jump it over here to make that vertical threat, which would basically force some weird stuff. Ooh, white's now moved the capstone. What is white wants to throw the capstone up onto D5. But if black plays at A6 or A5, white won't be able to make that smash. because it'll lead to black getting a road here. So I see what white's doing. White is really trying to set up this tinue in the vertical direction. But I don't think he can make it happen. I think it would have been smarter to just continue to play flats. I think it would have been much smarter to just play lots of flats, secure your win that way, really try to just force, because black didn't have really any options. Okay, now black did drop at a6. Now this is a point where white cannot make that toss to smash that wall. It would result in a road for black. White's got to know that, and so we won't be seeing that, I don't think, at least. He's got a pretty good eye for that sort of thing. So what white should do is something else. What that is, I'm not sure. He comes up with the capstone anyway, but this isn't the throw that I was talking about earlier where he smashes on d5. This is instead... I guess he's working on something else here. What is the plan? Maybe he wants to move the d5 wall onto c5 and open up a spot to make a threat that way. It's tough to say. I am intrigued. Oh, no, this is a threat. Oh, this is a threat and I didn't even see it. Oh, excellent play. Okay, I didn't see this. I wasn't paying attention. I was focusing on the vertical. Now that black's here, he can throw the capstone over, smash onto b4, and that's a horizontal road. That's clever. Black didn't see it. I didn't see it for the longest time either. White saw it, made that play. That is a very clever, very tricky move. Super well done from white. Well played, dopeMedic. Congratulations for winning game 2. And not only congratulations for winning game 2, congratulations for winning first place in the 2022 second quarter beginner TAC tournament. Fantastic play. Really well done. Well played both players. Excellent games. dopeMedic, you really showed that putting in the time and putting in the study definitely matters. Let's just take a look real quick. I'm gonna see how many games dopeMedic has played. I know he's only been playing for like a month, maybe 2. Probably like, yeah, I think 2 months or so. So let's see how many games dopeMedic has played, and I think that'll show why he's doing as well as he is. He's played 306 games. 306 games is why he wins this tournament. He's put in a lot of work and played a lot of games. He's able to see these patterns. He was able to see that threat probably faster than I did, because I know that it took me a while to realize he was even making a threat when he made this move. I was confused as to why he did it, but he saw it right away, and I'm sure some of you guys watching are like, well, duh. Hey, sometimes it takes a little bit. I'm going to blame it on me being sick and that my brain's not at 100%. But anyway, really, really well done. Well played. Congratulations to dopeMedic for winning. And just congratulations everybody who participated. Pat yourself on the back. This was a great tournament. We saw some really solid games. Great participants. Saw some really cool people who joined the community because of this tournament. So it's been a blast, and it's been a blast for me to cover some of these playoff games. So thanks everybody for watching. That is all for today. Be sure to check out the description below for all things TAC, especially the TAC Discord server, which is the community hub and where you can find all sorts of TAC resources, including strategy guides and, well, people to play with. Just like dopeMedic here, or Vivil, or me, or anybody else. You can play with people on playtac.com that you find in that Discord server, or play with them right in the Discord itself, playing asynchronously, or correspondence games, playing just one move a day if you want to. Great way to get some TAC in when you have limited amount of time. Thanks everybody for watching again, and until next time, have a great day, and happy tacking.